Hi, my name is Dr. Cheryl Meier, and I'm a psychologist for many, many years now. And today, though, I wanted to talk about suicide. It's not a topic I like talking about per se, but it's just on my heart. And I want parents to know about it or other teenagers to know about it. And what are some of the reasons why people feel suicidal? So this goes really deep for me. I've lost a friend, and at first we thought it was a suicide. Now it's an open case. My friend Elliot Smith, he was a musician. There are other circumstances to that. I'm not here to talk about that, but he was really, really close to me and dear to my heart. And we resonated in the same feeling. I've dealt with suicidal feelings myself, even though I'm a psychologist, and have worked really hard to help people get to the bottom of why they're not feeling love. Love is love, and people that feel like they're out on the outskirts sometimes and they're overlooked. I know for me, okay, so sometimes people say that people are suicidal because they think suicide is less painful than facing life. But you don't know what's going to happen after, I've read mystics and everything who have talked about the life beyond, and you basically, like, I won't tell anyone what to do, but you want to clear up your life so that you are vibrating, you're vibrant. The word vibrant is alive, fully alive. It's like not letting anyone take your life. Your life here is a gift. And this is what I'm coming through on the other side of me facing my own. So my own, I'll just be frank here, what I experienced was that, growing up the child of a narcissist, if you want to call it that, that's how I experienced my own childhood. One of my parents being a narcissist and another one a narcissist enabler. And it's not about blaming our parents at all. And it's not all people that are feeling this. I got a song the other day, and I won't date this, but someone sent me this song, and it was all about being lonely. I'm so, really, really lonely. The whole song is just that. And like 80 million people had watched it, or maybe it was 180 over 3 months. So there are a lot of people resonating with this right now. And so sometimes when you do feel these deep depression or suicidal feelings, you are an empath. So you pick up on the collective. You learn to be really empathetic. And so you pick up on the collective, like the feeling that's in the air. You've grown really sensitive to that. When you are a child of a narcissist, and not to just stick on labels, but when you are, then you learn they can't have any bad. So you take on all their bad. And then you feel horrible because you're taking on all this bad and you don't know what to do with it because it's not yours. We're only meant to carry our own load, help each other with the burdens, carry our own load. That's in the good book. Anyway, you can find that yourself if you'd like to. It doesn't matter where it comes from. Like, truth will set you free. So we're getting truth in our innermost. I'm not here to preach. I'm here to teach us so that we can understand and not be stuck in these patterns ever again. I don't want anyone, because they're lies, okay? And so because I took on all this extra pain and the bad that my parents couldn't hold, for whatever reason, they felt like, okay, so I'll just go with my dad, okay? If my dad had a very perfectionist father, he could never measure up to his father. Like, it was never enough. And so if you get that drilled into you through massive spankings, if you want to call them spankings, it got drilled into my dad that you're never enough, it's not good enough. And that's about my grandfather's own insecurity. And so when you have this combination of, I got this feeling that I was never enough, I could never be enough, and when you feel hopeless about your future, then what is there to live for? You also can grow up in a spiritual I grew up in evangelical Christianity. It was like, Jesus loves you, but you're really going to feel that in heaven. Okay, stop teaching people that. You're meant to know this love now, and you can know this love now, because that just makes you more feel like suicide is an answer. Okay, and also pleasing people. You learn how to be a giant pleaser, you know, and that's ridiculous, because that's not the way you're meant to live your life. You're meant to have a full, vibrant life and unfold who you are, and not be just told this is who you are and this is how you have to be. Understand who you are, live, find truth if you'd like to do that, you know, align yourself with your soul, and things can change. But and I'm living proof of that. But the other thing, and so when you have this combination of you're never good enough, and you have to take on all my bad. So I'm never good enough. My dad's never good enough. I have to take on all his bad. Then I'm carrying all this bad, and I feel horrible. I feel all this shame. That's my shame, and then his shame, and then God knows how many generations of shame that I'm carrying, or he was carrying, whatever. Then you learn that the thing is you're a mirror as a child. So I have children, and it's like they are a mirror to me and to my insecurities. And when I'm off balance, my kids, they reflect it back in their behaviors and the feedback that I get from them. And so I've learned more recently, and it's just been so beautiful to listen and to be present with where they are, and to set boundaries still, but know that they're reflecting something back. Whenever you have a finger pointing out, I learned this when I was working at a rehab, finger pointing out here, there's all these fingers pointing back at you, and you have the power to change your life, change how you operate, change how you see things. Be humble, be willing to learn. So I can see now, because I don't want my kids left with my burdens. But anyway, so I was a mirror to my dad, and that mirror reflected to him. This is my experience. I'm not talking about his experience. I can talk about my experience. I'm not putting this person down. But I felt like a mirror to him, and it felt like I was reflecting back to him his inability to have intimacy, to be close, to protect me, to make me feel loved and connected, to protect my mom. The polarities were imbalanced, if you want to know more specifics in that. And so I experienced this feeling, and because you pick it up as a child, and it wasn't like something they communicated, I love you. This is why it was confusing. I experienced this feeling of you're never good enough, and you keep showing me my bad. I would be happier if you didn't exist. And it's not what they told me, that's just what I experienced. And so for me, in order to please my parents, would be to not exist, to not live anymore. And also to go, well, you're not going to love me. And so people try to take power in an inverted way. It'd be like, fine, I'm just not going to be here anymore. If you aren't going to love me, and you don't want to love me unconditionally, and you don't want to show up, then I'm not going to be here anymore. So it is a sense of power. I heard it this way. You're so angry that it's like you're angry enough to kill, but you don't feel like you want to kill other people. And so you don't realize this is a person that you're killing. This is a person that God gave life to, however you understand. I call it divine love, so we're not triggered by the word God, because people have misused it in so many ways, but you're meant to be loved. Love is love. You're allowed to be loved, and to have love, and to live in that love, and be vibrant, and let go of living your life to take on other people's pain. That's their pain to deal with. And once you let go of that, and you don't get hooked in to this idea that that you have to please people or you're not worth anything. We can't measure up by those standards anyway. If you don't have love, you can't give it away. And so it's because my parents didn't know how to align in their own soul and live from their heart and their soul. This is why I believe there's like a new consciousness that's awakening right now, and people are learning how to become awake and live from their soul. And there's all these people that are aware of this, but there's also this energy that wants to suppress that because people are afraid to change. And so it's like, I often will say to myself, I would have been dead anyway. Like, live my life, live vibrantly, risk looking weird, looking silly, risk people making fun of you, risk crying, getting back in touch with your feelings. I was so numb for so long because I was carrying way too much weight, and I was a lot heavier too. I went from a size 12 to, I was wearing a size 2 the other day in a period of about a year. Anyway, that's something different. But sometimes when you have trauma in early childhood, you stay up in your head and you go for spirituality and a spiritual path because you don't feel safe in your body, grounded, you know? And so I've been learning all these things. I want love for everybody. I want people to know that you're empathic. It's not wrong that you pick up on other people, but it's okay to have boundaries. I am me and you are you, and you're allowed to have boundaries and separate, and you're not meant to be a people pleaser. This is not a spiritual thing to be a people pleaser. It's a man-made thing. And and you are enough. You are enough. You're meant to be loved right now, before you did anything, before you changed anything, before you accomplished anything. You're meant to be loved. Love is love. And so give people room to be themselves. And I hope this helps you understand. And I wish you so much love.